Today, our lesson is going to be on addition and subtraction of fractions. The key words for today's lesson is going to be numerator and denominator. Let me use an example of a fraction to explain what a numerator is and what a denominator is. If you have this fraction 3 out of 4, the upper number here, or the number at the top, is the numerator. The number down here is called the denominator. So these are the two key words we'll be using in our lesson today. Now, this is the question we are going to use to learn how to add or subtract two fractions with different denominators. So as you can see, the denominator of the first fraction is 4, and the denominator of the second fraction is 5. So there are two fractions with different denominators that we are trying to add. There are many ways that this question can be solved, but we are going to use one of the easiest way or one of the simplest method of solving this question. First, we are going to draw a line below those two fractions, and your next step is to multiply those two denominators of the two fractions. So we are going to multiply this 4, which is the denominator of the first fraction, by 5, which is the denominator of the second fraction. So we are going to have 4 times 5. And you know 4 times 5 is 20. So we have 20. We are going to put the 20 that you had from multiplying the 4 and the 5 down here. Now, after doing that, your next step is to use or take this numerator of the first fraction. So always you take the numerator of the first fraction and you multiply it by the denominator of the second fraction. So the numerator of the first fraction is 3. The denominator of the second fraction is 5. So we are going to have 3 times 5. And 3 times 5 is going to give us 15. So we are going to put the 15 here. And since we have the addition sign in between those two fractions, we are going to put the addition sign here. Now, our next step is to use or take the numerator of the second fraction and multiply it by the denominator of the first fraction. So I'm taking it again. You are going to use the numerator of the second fraction and you multiply it by the denominator of the first fraction. So which is going to be 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is going to give us 8. So we have 8 here like this. So now, as you can see, we are having 15 plus 8. So we are going to have 23. And then we have 20 below or under the line that we wrote. So we are going to have the 20 over here. So the answer is going to be 23 out of 20. And this method is mostly called the butterfly method. As I said earlier, there are other ways we can solve addition and subtraction of fractions. This is one way, and I think it's one of the easiest way to solve addition and subtraction of fractions with different denominators. You can simplify the answer, but in this case, in this lesson, we are not going to talk about it. We are going to see the simplification of this answer in our next video. Now, we did addition and subtraction. We did addition of these two fractions. We are moving on to how to subtract two fractions with different denominators. Though the procedure is the same, I just want to illustrate it so that you will get the understanding. So we are going to use the same two fractions, which was 3 out of 4. But this time around, I'm going to change the addition into a subtraction sign. So now we have 3 out of 4 minus 2 out of 5. So, like what I did for the addition of the two fractions, I'm going to rule a line below those two fractions. Now, it's the same procedure or the same way that I solved it. So I'm going to multiply the two denominators of the two fractions. So we have the denominator here to be 4 and the denominator here to be 5. So we have 4 times 5. As you saw, or as you already know, is going to be 20. So we put our 20 down here. Now, we are going to use this 3 here, which is the numerator of the first fraction, to multiply the denominator of the second fraction, which is 5. So we are going to have 3 times 5, which is going to give you 15. So we are going to put the 15 over here. And then, since our sign in between the two fractions is the subtraction sign or the manual sign, we are going to put the subtraction sign over here. Now, our next step is to multiply the numerator of the second fraction, which is 2, by the denominator of the second fraction, which is 4. So by doing so, we are going to have 2 times 4. And 2 times 4 is going to give us 8. So now we are going to write our 8 here like this. So now we have 15 minus 8. And 15 minus 8 is going to give us 7. So we have 7 out of 20. So now you can see that the addition of two fractions with different denominators follows the same procedure as the subtraction of two fractions with different denominators. The only difference is for the addition, you bring the addition sign in between the two numbers. That is this one. And then for the subtraction, you bring the minus sign or the subtraction sign in between those two numbers so that you can subtract to get your 7 out of 20. Thank you for watching. Bye.